What if your job was to kill someone? And the moment you pulled the trigger, you exploded instead? That's what happened to me. I was hired to erase her. But she didn't run. She sat down, smiled, and told me the bomb was in my spine. Zener breached the outer hull in 12 seconds flat. No alarms. No light. Just the cold snap of pressure doors giving way under precision work. He moved through the corridor like smoke. Pull steady. Boots silent. The pistol in his hand was calibrated to nerve disruption. Silent kill. Painless. Clean. The mission was clear: eliminate Lyra Wren. Wanted for biological data theft from the Interstellar Alliance. Dangerous. Elusive. Not to be interrogated. Just erased. The ship's interior was smaller than the dossier suggested. Cramped. Lived in. Too many mismatched components. Someone had rebuilt this from scraps. Someone clever. He slipped past the engine core. Cleared the airlock. Door 3. Pilot bay. She was there. Seated in the pilot's chair, back turned. Long white hair cascading over the shoulder of a crimson dress. Alone. Exposed. Too easy. Zener raised the pistol. Took aim. She didn't flinch. Instead, she spoke. You're late. His finger paused on the trigger. Turn around. I'd rather not. I look better from behind. Her voice was smooth. Light. Dismissive. Like she wasn't seconds from death. Do it anyway? She did. Slowly. And smiled. Not wicked. Not panicked. Just amused. As if this entire scenario was part of a joke only she understood. Zener kept the gun level. You know who I am. Of course. Zener Kale. Top 5 ranking. 37 confirmed kills. Some of them even deserved it. You've read my file. Better than you read mine, apparently. He advanced a step. She didn't move. Hands where I can see them. She raised them lazily. Thin wrists. No weapons. Do it quick, then. Just a shame. I did enjoy your shoulders. He hesitated. What game is this? She tilted her head. Not a game. A contingency. You're already too late. Too late for what? She leaned back in a chair. Her smile widened. The bomb's in your spine. Silence. Zener didn't blink. Say that again. I said, the bomb is in your spine. Implanted during your last blackout sleep cycle, 3 nights ago. You remember waking up sore? A little disoriented? That wasn't training fatigue. That was surgery. Lies. Sure. Test me. Pull that trigger. See how your vertebrae react. Zener didn't move. She stood now, slow, deliberate. Only I can keep it from going off. He watched her. Every instinct screamed to shoot. But his instincts had never met Lyra Wren. You're bluffing. And you're sweating. He was. just a little. But it felt like betrayal. She stepped closer. The gun stayed between them. You think the Alliance just wants me gone? No. They want you to be the one who does it. So you carry the guilt. And if you fail well, the bomb finishes the job. 2 problems solved. Why would they do that? Because you're efficient. And disposable. Zener said nothing. You're not the first they've sent. Just the first to make it this far. And the last. She smiled again. Depends. Do you want to die today? He looked down. The gun in his hand felt heavier. Like it knew something he didn't. Lyra turned her back to him again. Walked to the panel. Typed something. Doors hissed shut around them. So here we are. You. Me. And a question. Do you pull the trigger and hope I'm bluffing? Or do you sit down and realize you just became part of something much bigger than you thought? He stared at her. She didn't flinch. He lowered the gun. Not much. But enough. Start talking, he said. She grinned. I thought you'd never ask. And that was how it began. Zener had been on forced partnerships before. They never ended well. But now, strapped into the co-pilot seat of a patched-together ship flying toward an unnamed relay outpost, next to the woman who claimed to have planted a bomb in his spine, he wasn't sure what to call this. Lyra adjusted the stabilizers without looking at him. You're tense. I'm always tense when I've been blackmailed. She smirked. You're tense because you're thinking about whether you'll kill me before or after we land. She wasn't wrong. He watched her fingers on the controls. Precise. Deliberate. The kind of muscle memory only veterans carried. He hated how easy she made it look. This exchange point, he said, eyes forward, you're sure they can remove it? I'm sure they can decode the sequence and trigger the kill switch. If you play nice. You're enjoying this. She didn't deny it. The ship lurched slightly as they exited the local gravity field. Zener caught himself instinctively reaching for the side rail. Old reflexes. You know I still plan to kill you, he said, calm. Of course, Lyra said. But you won't? He turned. Why not? Because I know something you don't. About yourself. Try me. She leaned back, eyes on the stars. You've never hesitated until now. And you're not hesitating because of the bomb. Zener didn't respond. Silence settled like fog. Thick. Waited. Unspoken. Then, an alarm. Red lights pulsed. Pirates, she said before the sensors confirmed it. 3 blips. Fast. Aggressive trajectory. They must have traced the signature from the last port, Zener muttered. We have 5 minutes, tops. Zener stood. Moved toward the weapons locker. Lyra intercepted him. No. Let me. He stopped. Her eyes were sharper than before. Cold, clear. Calculating. He stepped aside. They dropped into a low orbit of a barren moon. Lyra rerouted all external systems to passive. cloak, manual override. Zener tracked her every motion. The pirates docked. Clangs echoed through the hull. Zener raised his pistol. Took position by the entryway. Lyra held up a hand. "Don't shoot unless I tell you." He almost laughed. "Excuse me. They don't want the ship. They want me. All the more reason. Trust me." 2 words he hadn't expected from her. The door hissed. 3 figures entered, masked, armored, armed. Lyra stepped into view, hands up. Zener stayed hidden. They spoke in low tones. "Demands?" She responded with calm precision. Then one reached for her arm. Zener moved to shoot. Then it happened. Lyra twisted, kicked the lead pirate into the second, disarmed the third before his rifle cleared its strap. 2 shots. Not hers. The pirates dropped. Zener emerged as Lyra stood over the last one, foot pressing his throat. "Told you," she said. He looked at the bodies. "You could have run." "I didn't." "Why?" She looked at him, not with smugness, but something else. "Because for a moment, I wanted to see if you'd save me. Turns out I didn't need saving." He stared at her. Something unspoken passed between them. "You're changing," she said. "I haven't decided yet." She turned away, heading back to the cockpit. "That's fine," she said. "I decided for both of us." And for the first time since he boarded her ship, Zener followed her willingly. Not because of the bomb, but because he didn't know what scared him more. Her power over him, or the fact that he was starting to trust her with it. The station was dead. No lights. No sounds. Just drifting metal and the hum of the ship's engine as it latched onto the docking ring. Zener moved first, pistol drawn. Lyra followed. She didn't speak. The corridor was dust and echo. Signs of life long gone. A perfect place to rest or to vanish. They found a room without windows. Barricaded from the inside once. The locks had long since been broken. But it would do. They didn't talk much. Ration packs. A shared canteen. No fire. No data signals. Just the sound of chewing and breathing. Lyra sat against the far wall, eyes half-lidded. Zener leaned near the door, pistol on his thigh. She glanced at him. Not sharp. Not testing. Just watching. Then she said it. "They said you'd kill me in my sleep. But I still slept next to you." He looked up. Her voice hadn't been accusatory. It hadn't been anything, really. Just, true. She blinked then. Slowly. The first time she looked unsure. Zener didn't know what to say. He wasn't trained for moments like this. He watched her pull the red wrap from her wrist, set it beside her like a memory she wasn't ready to wear. "You think I still might?" he asked. She shook her head. "I think if you were going to, you'd do it while I'm awake. Because it would feel less like a betrayal." He wanted to deny that. But he couldn't. He turned away instead. Checked the hallway again. Nothing. Silence folded over the room. Minutes passed. He looked back. She was asleep. Really asleep. Her hand rested near the edge of her jacket. Not on a weapon. Open. For a long time, Zener didn't move. Then, slowly, he lowered himself to the ground. Across from her. Facing the door. He didn't close his eyes. He watched. And for once, he wasn't watching for threats. He was watching her. The rise and fall of her chest. The faint twitch of a dream at the corner of her mouth. He didn't sleep that night. Not because he was afraid. But because something in him refused to miss this moment. He had killed so many without hesitation. But tonight, he kept his gun on the floor. And guarded something else entirely. By morning, she was still breathing. And he still hadn't decided if he was falling into something dangerous. Or finally waking up from something worse. The decoding station was buried in a crater. They landed at dusk. No welcome. No lights. Just a single terminal still blinking, waiting for a command no one remembered to cancel. Lyra walked ahead. Zener followed. Inside, everything reeked of cold and dust. Wires dangled like vines from the ceiling. Machines long past repair. But one console still pulsed blue. She didn't ask for help. She sat. Logged in. Her fingers danced like she had done this before. Zener stood behind her, silent. The process took minutes. Then the screen changed. Decode complete. She froze. He saw it before she could hide it, something like regret. Then she said it. There was never a bomb. Not really. Zener didn't move. What do you mean, not really? She stood. Turned to face him. There was a tracker. A pulse trigger. But it wasn't lethal. It never was. He stared at her. The pistol was already in his hand. You lied. She didn't flinch. I didn't lie. I improvised. You made me believe I was one breath away from death. Because you were. But not from the bomb. From yourself. The words hung between them. Zener raised the gun. You should have lied better. Lyra's eyes didn't leave his. I didn't lie. I just hoped you'd change before the truth killed us both. He didn't shoot. His hands were steady. But his chest ached. Why now? Why tell me? Because you didn't kill me in my sleep. Because you sat in the dark and watched me breathe like it mattered. She stepped closer. No sudden movements. Because I needed to know who you were when no one was watching. Zener lowered the pistol. Just a fraction. She took another step. Do it now, if you're going to. I won't run. He looked at her face. At the exhaustion. At the hope trying not to look like hope. He dropped the gun. The clatter echoed through the room. She inhaled sharp, shallow. Then she cried. No drama. No sobs. Just tears that she hadn't let fall for years. He didn't move. Didn't speak. Just let her. Because for the first time, she wasn't afraid of him. And for the first time, he wasn't afraid of her truth. The wind on the outer rim didn't howl, it whispered. Zener had stopped listening to most things, but he still heard that. He lived in a cabin built from scrap and silence, where satellites never passed and no one came unless they were lost. He didn't wear armor anymore. Didn't carry a weapon. Just kept his hands busy rebuilding things that didn't need fixing. He wasn't hiding. But he wasn't searching, either. The stars above him never changed. He stopped counting years after the fourth winter. One afternoon, as the sun bent low, a shadow approached. It was a girl, maybe 8. Alone. She walked like she knew where she was going, even if she didn't. Zener watched from the porch. She stopped in front of him and held out a small device. She said, "You'd understand." He didn't ask who. He took the recorder, turned it on. Lyra's voice came through. Older. Softer. Real. "She told me stories about you." She said, "The bomb wasn't real. But the fear was. And somehow, that's what saved her." There was a pause. Then a photo lit the screen. Lyra, alive. Standing beside the same child now in front of him. Her arm rested gently on the girl's shoulder. Her other hand tied something red around the child's wrist. Zener sat down. Not fast. Just slowly. Like his body remembered how to fold in the presence of memory. He looked at the child. She didn't speak again. She didn't need to. He untied the cloth from her wrist, tied it around his own. It was faded. Frayed. Still warm. He looked up at the sky. The same stars stared back. He exhaled. "Maybe the bomb was never in me," he said quietly. "Maybe it was her." And it went off. The girl smiled. Then turned. And walked back into the horizon. Zener stayed seated. Wrist wrapped. Breath steady. Not healed. But human. And that was enough. He was sent to kill her. She planted fear in his spine. But in the end, it wasn't the bomb that went off. It was everything he didn't know he could feel. Years passed. The mission ended. But a single red thread survived. And sometimes, that's all it takes. One choice not to pull the trigger. One person who still believes you can change. If this story meant something to you, maybe the bomb was never in you either. Maybe it's already gone off. Thank you for listening to UFO Love and Hate. And remember, some weapons don't explode. They stay.